Over 400-year-old alien bodies found in caves beneath a church in Mexico. Man, this is a crazy story. We've got to talk about it. Get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I'll talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, this is from an interview with Ross Coulthart with a guy named T.W. Mock, who almost ran for governor of Texas, apparently. He's a very credible guy. He was part of various crash retrievals. I think this was the only UFO crash retrieval. But, okay, so it's an hour and a half interview, and there's another interview on the Resilient Show, also very good. He goes into a little bit more information in that interview. But the basics from what I understand, just breaking it down, and here's TW, and his buddy Chad, who chimes in, and Chad was, I believe, a special forces operator, and another very credible guy. He runs the Resilient Show, and I'll be showing some clips of that. But yeah, okay, so these beings, these alien beings, these are like 7 foot tall. I'm not quite clear how big these things are. And look at this teeth. We're going to go over the teeth in a little bit as well. But yeah, these are between like 6 to 8 feet tall, apparently. Beings, possibly occupants of a UFO. There was supposedly a UFO that crashed in Mexico, and there was a church built on top of it to contain the effects of it, but it did not work. And this is, back in the 1600s, flash forward to the modern day, and TW, who is an operator who does crash retrievals, is called in as part of a team to go and retrieve these things. And China is already there. China is already also trying to retrieve these things. And apparently they got there first and were able to get, possibly UFO or some technology as well as a body. So there was a race to get these things. Now, this was all done under the auspices of some sort of government contractor in Virginia. He won't name the government contractor, also in association with the JPL, Jet Propulsion Labs, and also under the umbrella of Project Stargate, the remote viewing outfit. Then he talks about how mediums were involved in this. He doesn't say remote viewers. He doesn't seem to have actually been in touch with the remote viewing team. But he does talk about mediums, which is interesting. And he talks about paranormal events. Man, this is such a crazy story. And there are multiple deaths involved. There's at least 13 U.S. deaths associated with this. Prior operatives were sent into Mexico to get this stuff, and they all died of exposure. Apparently, once they got into these caves where these beings and this technology was. And TW came into contact apparently with one of these beings, one of these dead bodies, and had terrible health effects that lasted for a year. In fact, they said he was terminal and he was going to die. But he survived, obviously. And he might also have come into contact with a portal. I would like more information about that. I'd like more information about all of this. This is just such a crazy story. Kudos for Ross for getting this interview, and kudos to TW for coming out with this information. But a lot of this information is really suggestive. It's hints at information that he won't really talk about fully. I guess he can't talk about. And if I saw these pictures in isolation, I don't know what I would think. Do they look a little hinky? Maybe. Look at the shape of the heads of these guys. They got the alien queen kind of head going for them. They look very dramatic. If these things were 8 foot tall beings, they got this big robust chest with thick bones. You can imagine the nightmare fuel these beings would have been in life. So if these were real beings, damn. And apparently they were, because there's a bas relief or a carving that TW saw that was done back in the day of two of these beings fighting with each other, like one of them stabbing the other. And it was showing these beings in life, much as they are here dead. So, which is fascinating to think that they're fighting with, swords and or spears or whatever would be stabbing each other, not with ray guns or consciousness abilities, but stabbing each other. I mean, what the hell? And why are they fighting each other? So many questions, so few answers in this interview. It's fascinating. It's alarming. You got deaths associated with this. You got illness. You got, the Chinese spies also trying to get access to this and apparently getting access to it. It's a crazy story. I highly recommend checking out the full interview. But there you go. There is kind of an overall picture of what's going on. Crash retrieval expert tasked with going in and getting these bodies. He says it cost like $1 billion per asset to acquire. I mean, that's how much overall it cost to go in there and get this, and fighting China and all the apparatus around it. It doesn't look like a lot of that money was spent safely extracting these, with respect to the humans involved, because they were getting sick and dying. So I don't know where that $1 billion came from, other than possibly secrecy and security, against China. TW gives even more information on the Resilient Show with Chad here. He alludes to things that might be living beings and paranormal events. I wish he would open up more and talk about what really happened, but he doesn't. But he does give us some really suggestive hints here.
I got the coordinates. I know what I saw, know where I went, know what we did.
So you excavated a site under a church?
Correct. They built a church over the top of this crash site because of all the things that were happening. And I say things, there were just a lot of abnormal inconsistencies that were happening around that. And subsequently, they felt like that if they put a house of worship over the top of it, that it would subsequently make this go away. It never did.
It never did. So there are continuing effects of this UFO that crashed there. They tried to dampen it with this church, but it didn't work. Whatever the hell is going on there is still going on. Does that mean living beings under there in this cave system where this UFO is, or these beings are? These bodies are that were recovered. What does that mean exactly? Does this mean paranormal activity? Because he does go there. And we know that paranormal activity or stuff that seems to be paranormal is associated heavily with UFO incidents. So he describes that, or he doesn't describe it, but he alludes to it, and he talks about consciousness effects, and even the Anunnaki comes up.
You say abnormalities going on in this area.
Well, there's a lot of, I didn't take them, I didn't see them, but there was some other ground effects there that were very alarming to me that we can talk about offline in another, we'll go through a whole photo file and kind of look at it. But there were some thermal images that were taken at night of some very interesting things.
Yeah, I've seen those from you.
Okay, I've seen no, I didn't take I can't validate that they're real. The metadata's been kind of manipulated a little bit, so it doesn't tell me a lot. But other things do, and there's some live videos that happened on the ground at the time where we picked up some very interesting abnormalities.
Damn, this is so frustrating. What are these abnormalities? Is he talking about aliens caught on camera? Is he talking about ghost or paranormal stuff? What is he talking about? The hints here are so frustrating and so exciting. I want to know all about this, but he won't talk about it.
And I won't call them crafts. I won't call them beings. I don't know what they were, but I do know that they were passing through matter. That's what I do know. And again, your mind, I guess, if you're not in that position, your mind's trying to process what it's seeing. Mm-hmm. And this is when I knew just that I was way out of my element, right? Because I'm seeing something that's happening. I'm going, that's not real. I'm very much I'm a realist. So if my house moves or my family thinks my house is haunted, it's not. It just happens to be concrete and the house is heavy and it moves on a.
Yeah. So he goes on to say that he's a realist. He doesn't really believe in the paranormal much, but stuff was happening. Man, this is such an exciting and perplexing and disturbing in some ways case. I wish we could get some really concrete answers on it, talking about concrete. You're not going to get, all the ins and outs of that, sadly, in these interviews. But hopefully more information will be coming forward. This is just such an amazingly fascinating case. But what about the being's teeth?
But look, uh, we had two. We had two particular skulls at that time that had two rows of teeth and different canines too. I want to bring this up too, Chad. We didn't really talk about this, but there were some canine events in there that were extremely abnormal. But then secondarily, you had other skeletons that had one set of teeth that looked very similar to what you would imagine. They didn't look lab. They have the shark look to it, where you had multiple rows, but two specifically, one individually. So, you know, I didn't know the variance or the impact of that, of what that actually meant. I still don't know to this day. I
So
don't
just
know.
just just so I'm clear, TW, because this is really important. You're
Sure.
saying there were two rows of teeth in, what was it, the upper or the lower mandible?
Lower.
Really?
2 rows of teeth, just like many giants are said to have. So yeah, guys, this is just a nutty story. I don't know what to make of it. I love it. I can't wait for more information to come out about it. I want to know all about this. This is just nuts. I want to see the big screen movie about this. I want to read the book about it or the book series about it. Yeah, this just ticks all the boxes. You got the secret war with tragic deaths associated with trying to get access to this technology and this biology, potentially living beings under a cave system in Mexico, possibly paranormal activity. There's all sorts of stuff that comes up in the interview with Ross. The implication that reptilian beings are associated with Russia and China and dealing with them, whereas the Anunnaki are dealing with the U.S. Interesting take there. But yeah, there's the secret war over this stuff. And of course there is. That makes perfect sense. You have the spies vying over this high technology in biology, potentially even access to these beings. You have paranormal stuff associated with this. This is a crazy story. Okay, go watch the interview. I'll link to both of these videos. Go check it out. I would love your thoughts on this. And if you see any information about beings like this, let me know. This obviously has connections with the giants, for example, possibly connections with other things, because there are stories about Nazca beings living in caves in South America. And, there's other beings that have been found in caves. But apparently there is UFO technology associated with this as well. So does that mean there's UFO association with the Nazca beings? Man, I want to put all the pieces together. This is just crazy. I love it. Love it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support the channel, grab a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store. Become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars. And I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.